CBS Weekend News is next. We'll see you at 6.
Tonight, the making of a king. In an ancient ceremony with a modern twist, Charles III is formally proclaimed sovereign.
Charles III, king.
I am deeply aware of this great inheritance.
This centuries-old tradition broadcast live for the first time. The proclamation ringing across the realm.
I'm Roxana Saberi outside Buckingham Palace, where crowds keep gathering to pay their respects to the late Queen and their new king.
At Windsor Castle, brothers unite with their wives, honoring their grandmother and Queen. Also tonight, royal change, symbols of Elizabeth, what stays and what goes. In Ukraine, Russia retreats after a stunning advance of Ukrainian troops. Plus, weather whiplash in the West.
I'm Ben Tracy in Southern California, where firefighters are getting help from a rare September storm.
And later, majestic monarch and good sport, the other side of Her Majesty.
I'm Elizabeth Palmer in Edinburgh on the charm that lent magic to Queen Elizabeth's reign.
This is the CBS Weekend News from Chicago with Adriana Diaz.
Good evening. Buckingham Palace made it official today. Queen Elizabeth's funeral will be held Monday, September 19th at Westminster Abbey in London. This is the scene today outside Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where the Queen died Thursday. Tomorrow, her coffin will be taken to Holyrood House in Edinburgh. The casket accompanied by their only daughter, Princess Anne. And 500 miles south, this remarkable reunion today. Princes William and Harry greeting crowds outside Windsor Castle. They were joined by their wives, Kate, now the Princess of Wales, and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. This historic day began with a nearly 1,000-year-old tradition, formally naming Charles as king. CBS's Roxana Saberi outside Buckingham Palace leads us off. Roxana, good evening.
Good evening, Adriana. Charles automatically became the new monarch when the Queen died 2 days ago, but his role was officially announced across the country today.
April. Straight ahead on the CBS Weekend News, September 11th families bring attention to a possible plea deal with Gitmo detainees. The symbols of Queen Elizabeth's 70-year reign can be found throughout Britain and well beyond its shores. But her death is prompting royal change on several fronts. We get more now from CBS's Elise Preston.
The King. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on the CBS Weekend News, it's one of the biggest criminal cases in American history. But are plea deals in the works for alleged plotters behind 9/11? Sunday marks 21 years since the 9/11 attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people on U.S. soil. Now some family members of victims are protesting possible plea deals for some of those charged in the attacks. Here's CBS's Catherine Herridge.
Catherine Herridge, CBS News, Washington.
Next on the CBS Weekend News, it's that time of year corn stalks are tall enough for the biggest corn maze in the world. Why it might take a secret agent to get through this labyrinth.
Oh.
Today, about 1,200 members of the United Auto Workers Union went on strike at the Stellantis casting plant in Kokomo, Indiana. The facility makes parts for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. When we return from slapstick to dry wit, a look back at the majesty and sharp wit of Queen Elizabeth. Finally tonight, Queen Elizabeth is being remembered for her stoic and steadfast leadership style in an ever-changing world. And while she's known for displaying her sense of duty, Her Majesty's sense of humor wasn't far behind. Here's CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
She was Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, Edinburgh.
That is the news for this Saturday. There'll be more on the life and legacy of Queen Elizabeth first thing tomorrow on CBS Sunday morning. Also Sunday, Nora O'Donnell in London anchors a special edition of the CBS Evening News. For now, I'm Adriana Diaz in Chicago. Good night.
Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Now at 6, the heat moves out as the smoke moves in. How raging wild